It's Thursday, it's February 12th. I'm Megan McKinney. You're listening to Hear First from IPR. The Ames City Council has passed an ordinance prohibiting discrimination in employment, housing, and education based on someone's gender identity. IPR's Rachel Kramer reports.
After the state of Iowa removed gender identity from its civil rights law last year, some cities adopted resolutions affirming their local protections. The Ames City Council voted 5-1 in approving its own ordinance. The lone dissenter, council member Tim Garton, raised concerns about a bill that an Iowa House subcommittee advanced Monday. It would ban local governments from adopting broader protections than the state law. Councilmember Bronwyn Beatty Hansen says she does not want to bend to what she sees as bullying behavior.
I think as we face a state government that is increasingly inserting its control of our every move, I believe that it is important to make Ames's stance on this issue clear.
The city's new ordinance goes into effect Saturday. I'm Rachel Kramer, IPR News.
The Iowa Secretary of State plans to settle a lawsuit from civil rights groups over a flawed list used to challenge voter eligibility before the 2024 election. 2 weeks before the general election, the state said around 2,000 Iowans must file provisional ballots because driver's license records indicated they may not be citizens, but the vast majority actually were citizens. The ACLU of Iowa says under the proposed agreement, the state would no longer use the 2024 list or rely on Department of Transportation data to challenge voters. The Iowa Attorney General's office says that's not a concern because the state can now check voter rolls against a federal citizenship database. Now heading over to the state legislature, mothers without legal status and some other immigrants would be barred from a food assistance program for women and babies under a bill advancing in the Iowa House. IPR's Katerina Sostarek has more.
WIC is a federal nutrition program for pregnant and postpartum women and babies and young kids. It provides food, formula, breastfeeding support, and more. A House bill would bar immigrants without legal status, as well as some lawfully present immigrants, from WIC. Republican Representative Austin Harris of Moulton says these restrictions are already applied to general food assistance, Medicaid, and housing vouchers.
This is nothing new. So Iowa is not going to be a sanctuary state for waste, fraud, and abuse, and we're going to move this bill forward today.
The bill would make several other changes to public assistance programs. Harris says overall it aims to protect benefits for Iowans who need them the most. Several people spoke against the bill, saying it'll cause babies to go hungry and have health problems. I'm Katerina Sostarek, IPR News.
Iowa could have a domestic abuse offender registry under a bill passed by a House subcommittee. An offender would be added to the public list after their second conviction. The registry would include their name, photo, conviction date, and counties where they committed abuse. Chase Glinke Baltimore is a lobbyist for the Iowa Coalition Against Domestic Abuse. She says their group is opposing the bill in part because they have privacy concerns for victims.
Because of the way that we understand that domestic violence operates in intimate partner relationships, that by identifying an abuser and specifically date of conviction, county of conviction, the fear would be that that's going to ultimately disclose the identity of a victim as well and potentially any children born out of that relationship.
After 2 convictions, an offender's name would be on the list for 2 years. People with more convictions would stay on the list for longer. It's Here First from IPR. I'm Megan McKinney. There's been a string of closures of independently operated music venues in central Iowa. In just a moment, how it impacts artists, but how some are optimistic there will be new spaces to thrive. Stay with us. Welcome back to this Thursday edition of Here First from IPR. I'm Megan McKinney. Lefty's Live Music closed its doors for good at the end of last year. The small stage in Des Moines was known for giving bands a place to perform for the first time. It's also one of several independent venues in Des Moines to shut down in recent years. IPR's Josie Fischels reports on what the shrinking number of spaces mean for local musicians.
It's a weeknight at Lefty's Live Music in the Drake University neighborhood during one of the venue's final shows. A small crowd has gathered to listen to local artist Potter Acoustic perform.
This is a special place to a lot of us. It's nice to play here one more time. Thank you, guys.
Above them, the ceiling is lined with T-shirts from bands that played here over the past decade. Co-owner Eric Brown says he's collected more than 400.
I feel very stoic. I know everybody's going through their early stage emotions, like sad it's going away.
Brown says once Lefty's is gone, he's not sure where some of the bands that built their sound here will land.
Open spaces are leery of heavier music and younger kids. They want, an R&B band or a country band and kind of that demographic. So there has to be spaces like this where you have development bands, kids that have angst and want to get it out.
Des Moines' live music scene looks very different today than when Lefties opened in 2015. Even then, the city had already lost longtime venues like House of Bricks. Closures accelerated after the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic. Vaudeville Muse shut down in 2020, followed by the Gas Lamp in 2023, and the nonprofit behind the 8035 Music Festival in 2024. Larger rooms exist, like Vibrant Music Hall in nearby Waukee, but that's owned by Live Nation, which also holds a controlling stake in First Fleet Concerts, the booking agency behind Woolies, the Valor Ballroom, and the Hinterland Music Festival.
Now you get to see the shows that you've been wanting to see.
Madison Ray works at local indie venue XBK.
You can see the artists that would generally not come to Des Moines or anywhere near Des Moines. So from that standpoint, as like a music fan, Live Nation really changes the game.
Ray says the key is finding the balance.
The mom and pops, the DIY independent spaces bring something unique to the palette of the culture that we're building here. If those spaces get snuffed out, then I think we're really in trouble.
Local rock band Display Case rehearses in a basement. On a cabinet sits their own tile from Lefty Ceiling, salvaged from the now closed venue. A faded band shirt is wrapped around it. Bassist Dylan Medina says for them, venues like Lefty's were classrooms.
House of Bricks was a huge place for us. Vaudeville Muse, I tell people we used to live on that street because we were, if we weren't playing there, we were hanging out there.
Medina says those now closed venues helped young bands learn how to navigate the business of music.
Playing at venues at a young age, we had a lot of older venue owners, like Jimmy from House of Bricks, Eric, just a ton of people that kept us in our place and taught us how to do it the right way.
Display Case says years in the scene have given them momentum. Their next show is at Locals, a new venue that opened in the Metro last summer. It's one of only a handful of independent venues left in Des Moines. Back at Lefty's during its final week of operation, Eric Brown says openings like that are why he believes the indie scene will survive and where young bands will continue to find mentorship.
I love that we provided that for this long. I think there will always be spaces, but it's like one step backwards and then two steps forwards kind of thing. They'll feel it for a minute, but they'll figure it out too.
He's more than confident that the scene that he once helped foster in Des Moines will thrive again. I'm Josie Fischels, IPR News.
And I'm Megan McKinney. Thanks for listening to Hear First from IPR Today. I hope you have a great Thursday.